Our first candidate this evening is Representative Vikki Goodwin. Vikki Goodwin represents House District 47, and she is running for the Texas House again, and we're so glad she is. She's also planning on running for Lieutenant Governor in 2026. Welcome, Vikki. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Nancy. It's so good to be here.
Yeah. So, Vicky, can you tell us, like, for anybody who doesn't know who you are, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're running for office, and maybe tell us a little bit about why you're looking at running for lieutenant governor in 2026?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am in my third term. I'm from the Austin area. I represent Western Travis County, so the outskirts of Austin. Have really enjoyed being in the legislature. My first session, we really focused on school funding, and we did put a lot of money into our schools. But now we are back in the same position we were when I ran the first time. Our schools are really struggling. And I'm very passionate about our public schools. I think it's so important that we make sure every child in this state gets an excellent education. We can only do that if we are taking care of our schools and our teachers, making sure our teachers are paid well. Of course, the governor and lieutenant governor have a priority of privatizing our schools, basically having a voucher system or education savings account, whatever you want to call it. But we know that that would take money out of our public schools. And so the majority of Texans are against that. That's just one of the things that I'm interested in working on next session. I have some priorities of housing affordability. And as I've been traveling the state, people really resonate with that because it's an issue all over the state. We also need to pay attention to water. The state has grown so much, and our water needs are growing with it. And so those are some things I want to put some emphasis on. Really feel passionately about our leadership, not doing the right thing, not taking us in the right direction. And so that is why I have decided to run for lieutenant governor in the next cycle when that seat is up. I have so many reasons, but the top three are public education, supporting it; two, taking corruption out of our leadership. And we saw Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick take a $3 million bribe basically from Paxton right before he was the head judge of the impeachment trial against Paxton. And then I've worked very hard on gun safety initiatives. We had two good gun safety bills that passed the House last session that the Lieutenant Governor would not let through the Senate. And so again, we need to work on issues that are important to Texans, that the majority of Texans believe in, and they feel like, why aren't we doing things that the majority of us agree on? Women's reproductive health care is another one of those. I think if we put that up to a vote of Texans, that we would see the majority want women to be able to make their own healthcare choices.
Wonderful. Well, you did such outstanding work this last legislative session, and that was a really tough session. So I just was so proud of you just every single time that you were definitely on like the right side of the issues. And I just want to say for anybody who's watching this right now is that Vikki Goodwin actually got an A on her mom's report card, and that was pretty amazing. She was the first person that I reached out to when we calculated like all the scores, and I saw the score sheet. And I said, "Hey, Vikki, you got an A," and I was so happy and so proud. So I know that Vicky's going to do an outstanding job this next legislative session, and hopefully as a future candidate for lieutenant governor. So I'm really excited about that. So Vikki, what do you think? I mean, you mentioned some of the issues just a little while ago, but what do you think are the top issues in your district right now?
Certainly water, because my district is all around Lake Travis, and they see on a daily basis the lake is low. Even after all the rain we had this spring, it was still at only 40% full. And so we have some initiatives some bills that we will file next session around water conservation. And one interesting thing is that Travis County saved a lot of water, millions of gallons of water by reusing condensation from the AC system in their buildings. The Capitol could do the same thing and again, save millions of gallons for the city. So we're looking at making that a bill as well. I think public education, certainly that is the top issue. People love their public schools. They want to make sure that we can retain the workforce that we have. And when we can't give teacher raises, that leads to some of them leaving. They feel stressed out. They feel unappreciated. with all this conversation about how schools are failing and therefore we need to have vouchers. And so a lot of teachers have left the profession, and we need to make sure to turn that around, to pay them what they deserve, and to really support our teachers and our schools.
Wonderful. Yes. And also, let's talk a little bit, like you sit on a very important committee right now at the Texas legislature, which is like the gun safety committee. What is that one? I forget what this is.
Homeland, Homeland Security and
That's
Public
it.
Safety.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role in that committee?
Yeah, so I have asked to be on the committee all three sessions that I've been there because I wanted to get some sensible gun safety legislation through. It has been extremely difficult, as you know, to pass any type of gun safety legislation. But thankfully, my first session, Donna Howard did get $1 million into the budget for us to have public safety announcements about safe storage. So a lot of times kids will get a hold of guns and accidentally shoot them. And so if we're making sure guns are locked up and safely stored, we can save lives. So that's one initiative. I also worked with DPS trying to close one of the loopholes around background checks. We got closer this last session than before, just didn't quite get it over the finish line. But again, it's something that law enforcement is asking for. And we should certainly, if we back the blue, we should be helping them be safe. And that goes to raising the age for buying assault style weapons from 18 to 21. We got that out of committee. We just didn't get it to the floor for a vote. But I do think the majority of Texans agree that there's no reason that an 18 to 21-year-old should be able to buy an assault style weapon. We should limit that and make our community safer.
Wonderful. So, Vicki, I'm going to ask you an extra question since you're currently an elected official there at the Texas legislature. My question is this: I've been asking everybody who's currently elected just an extra question or two, but what can we expect out of the 89th Texas legislative session?
You know, it is all going to depend on the outcome of the November election. So my hope and my goal is to flip 12 seats, and then the Democrats would have a majority in the House, and that would make a huge difference. Otherwise, if we don't flip seats, it's going to be terrible because the governor already says he has the votes he needs to get vouchers passed. That will, again, become a contentious battle. And besides that, there are some of the members, Republican members, saying that they want to be speaker next session in order to not have a single Democrat chair a committee. And they want to make sure that all Republican bills are passed before we consider any Democratic bills. It would basically be horrible. So we've got to flip seats. And that is one thing that I'm really concentrating on this election cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be just the worst session ever. So we have to go out there and try to do the best job we can to flip as many seats as possible. So you're the first person that I've heard say 12 seats. I've been saying 10, but I've been saying we absolutely have to flip 5, but we should try to flip between 5 and 10. But you're the first person I heard that has said 12. So I know Gina Hinojosa went live and she said it was 3. So how did you come to 12?
Well, 12 would give us a majority. So
Oh,
right now we have 64 Democrats. With 12, that would be 76. So we would have a majority. Why not shoot for the stars?
yeah, why not? No, I hear you there. And then the other thing is for anybody who's out there listening that doesn't know, we have like 38 or so Texas House seats that are running unopposed. Quite a few Texas House Democrats are running unopposed. So we need to power and harness that energy back into the Texas legislative session and the people who are running. We need help. We need mentorship. We need fundraisers. We need help from those that are currently in elected office that are running unopposed, because it would just really kind of help tip us over the edge. So I'm really hoping that some of those candidates show up and really just show up for other candidates during this cycle, because it can make a big difference and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We can all pitch in, and we absolutely should be. Those who are in unopposed seats have no excuse not to get out and help those who are running against members that would support vouchers. So we should all be pitching in.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to have one other really quick question for you. So, because you're working on the Homeland Security Committee, that has a lot to do with the border. So, I wanted to ask you, what is your current update on the border and what, the all of the issues around border issues that have taken up a lot of our resources as Texans for the last couple of years straight. What's the latest on the border that you can share with us tonight?
Well, you just said it. It's just taking so many resources, so many dollars that we're sending for Operation Lone Star. And really, the governor does all of this on his own without any legislative input. So he makes decisions all the time without my knowledge. And so I know right now there is an installation being built along the border for the Texas military. And we had a scientist go and study the buoy barrier to see what the impact is. And she actually found that there's more sediment buildup than she would have expected in a year's time. And there are actually little trees that are growing up in it. So it's changing the river. And of course, the federal government said it needed to be removed. The governor has dug his heels in and says he's not removing it. So we've got that. And then the wall. The governor has said he's going to continue building the wall to the tune of, I don't remember, so many billions of dollars. It's hard for me to wrap my head around. It's just, what is our goal? What is our hope for outcome for all of this money and time and energy that we're spending?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So Vikki, just tell us, where can we find you? To give us the scoop on your social media accounts and your website, and how best can we support you right now while you're running for office?
Right. Well, my website is VikkiGoodwin.com, VIKKI, Goodwin.com. And then my social media is Vikki Goodwin TX. So on Facebook, Twitter. So pretty simple to find me. And we're always working, always raising monies for my efforts to travel the state, to do the work that I'm doing, to mentor other candidates. So helping them with their fundraising, messaging, and field work.
Well, thank you so much for spending this evening with us. It really means a lot to us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on multiple campaign trails, not just the one for Texas House, but hopefully the one for Lieutenant Governor as well. So, as you know, I'm a big Vikki fan. So thank you so much, Vikki. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you, Nancy.